Hi everyone, Nubkeks here. It's Monday, and over the weekend, we got dropped the new job action trailer for Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker expansion. So I want to watch it with you here today and give you my reactions, give you my thoughts and impressions. I did actually watch it with my girlfriend as well, who has never played the game, so I can also give you her insight, like as a gamer that's never played the game, in terms of what she actually thought looked cool as an outsider and what she thought looked pretty bad. Before we talk about that though, I want to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creators to explore new skills, deepen existing passions, and get lost in your creativity. And one of my favorite little creative things to do every day on YouTube, making videos, is making cool thumbnails. And I use Photoshop to do that. So the class I was looking at this month is called Adobe Photoshop Essentials Training Course by Daniel Scott, who's a certified trainer for Adobe. And in this class, he'll explain everything you need to know, not just for making thumbnails like I do, but really for everything that this incredibly powerful tool of Photoshop will let you do. Skillshare is also created specifically for learning, so there are no ads and there's constantly new premium classes being released, so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. On top of that, Skillshare do have a special offer which is ending actually this month in September, where the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below will actually get a 1-month free trial. So that's longer than the default free trial. You get a whole month to jump on and see everything that Skillshare has to offer. So thank you to Skillshare for that and for sponsoring the video. Once again, you can find the links in the description or in the comment section down below. And without any further ado, let's get back to today's video. All right, let's dive in. Let's do this. I'm super hyped for this. This is like my first time starting an expansion in Final Fantasy XIV. So it's gonna be pretty great. And obviously we're racing at the moment. Well, not racing, but making steady progress at the moment to be up and ready for Endwalker day 1 when it releases, be finished with the MSQ and everything like that. Currently in Stormblood, but hey, here we go. Let's go. Dragoon is up first. This is what I played the most because I mained this for all of Heaven's Word. I think it's really interesting. They actually removed the Blood of the Dragon as an active ability, which I think is kind of nutty. So now it's just a passive. It's just always on. And it looks like the visual isn't there anymore either. The sort of blue dragon thing swirling around you. I think that might have been a new AoE attack right there. It looked like an extra maybe 4-part AoE combo. I also think that is a new animation right there for Chaos Thrust. I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of interesting too. But I mean, in my opinion, Dragoon is just super flashy. It looks incredible with all the jumps and everything like that. I feel like that might be a new animation as well right there for maybe full thrust. He did a little spin around, which is cool. And here we go. He's going into the big stuff. I don't have that ability yet myself. And then finally ending it off with the 2 dragons, the blue and the red, going through. So yeah, I thought Dragoon was cool. I thought that was actually pretty badass. Some nice new animations there. Just sort of upgrading what it already does, essentially. And then a new big attack to finish off your Life of the Dragon. Warrior, coming in with Warrior then. This is one of the jobs that never appealed to me too much, but I've actually been pretty impressed by it here in the trailer. It's certainly like slow-paced, but it just has some of those big beefy attacks, like big spin attacks and stuff. That actually seems pretty satisfying. Like you are actually just like that big spin around and jump attack. That seems pretty cool. And then of course we got the chainsaw spam, I think, coming up in a little minute here, which is just awesome. I think they just know that this is like the best move. They show it off 3 times. They're like, you know what? This move is just amazing. 3 times and then big super multi-somersault slam to finish it off. I think that looks super fun. It actually makes me interested in playing this. Then we go into Red Mage, which to me seems like it's been changed a fair bit actually. So number one thing I noticed was he actually goes into his AoE, his melee combos at much lower black and white mana. So I thought that was kind of cool. That also looks like a new ability, a big team shield of some sort. And then whenever they do a melee combo, they seem to be building up these 3 little diamonds below their bar here. So like 1, 2, and then 3. And then go back out, and that's going to actually empower your next spell after you finish your melee combo. So I think that's kind of cool. The idea that you go in, you do 3 AoE attacks or 3 melee attacks, and then this big finisher here at the end. So yeah, it looks like just a refinement on Red Mage again. I think that's kind of cool. Maybe you could build up, store up more power and be good with that. Now we've got Scholar. And my favorite part about that, everyone's hating on this, but my favorite part about it was my girlfriend, who knows nothing about any of the drama over Scholar or anything. We're watching the trailer, and at this point she just went, I can already see this is more boring. Zero prompting, zero info. Just said, oh yeah, is this what healers are? It just seems way more boring. This is their new big move. They do a big damage reduction and move speed buff. I thought it was such a pity in this trailer that they did it with just this little Lalafell running forward. Imagine how much more cool that would be if they popped this big AoE move speed buff on a group, and then the group ran out of the thing. You'd have been like, oh, okay, I get what's going on. When I watched that trailer, I was like, why is a Lalafell just running out of an AoE? That's really weird to put in the trailer. It's actually because it's an AoE move speed buff, but the trailer just didn't communicate that at all. Dark Knight in here looking really slow. Just slow, big strikes. And from what I understand, I've played a little bit of Dark Knight, not too much, but it seems to me that it's mostly playing the same. One of the things that I actually liked about this trailer was that it seems like there's a pretty big emphasis on your Shadow Clone. It looks like he has some extra attacks and he's doing more stuff, and I thought that's actually kind of awesome. That sort of sets you apart, makes it feel really different. Like none of the other jobs are playing with their Shadow Clone with them, so I kind of like that in the trailer, at least, that they're really emphasizing the role that plays. I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, Dark Knight looks solid, I think. Wasn't amazing, but it looks solid. Dancer, this looked quite cool. There are some crazy big AoE attacks that are going off with the Dancer here in this trailer. So we're going into, I think it's a technical step to start things off. But yeah, again, I'm not super familiar with Dancer because I haven't played it crazy much. My girlfriend thought this is the most ridiculous job ever. She's like, this is so silly. You're dancing at them? What is this? But yeah, like, look, all these huge AoE attacks. Maybe they are like the attacks that you have right now in games of Dancer, but man, they're just big attacks. I thought that was so cool. This wave of chakrams just shooting out, this big line attack. And I thought this was quite nice as well. It's an actual dance built into it that seems to be doing some sort of big group heal. I thought that was really nice as well, that, hey, there's some of these just more dances being incorporated in. So that was pretty impressive. Machinist up next as well. I believe they have a few new moves. I think one of them comes up here, like a big shotgun move. Yeah, this. Pull out a shotgun. Bam. Big AoE blast. I thought that looked pretty fun. I already thought that Machinist is just, you know, this is just its base combo. And it already looks incredibly cool. Just a really cool base combo. Already flashy move. This is also a new move as well. A big sort of launcher thing that shoots out a barrage of chainsaws, as far as I know. Which is just, I can only imagine how satisfying that must feel. And I think their Automaton has a new move as well. But yeah, I already thought Machinist was a really flashy job. And it looks like it's getting some very satisfying new tools. Like, come on. Big rocket launcher that shoots chainsaw blades. Yeah. Big shotgun blast. Just adding really satisfying button presses, which is good because I thought Machinist actually has relatively few buttons from what little I've played of it. Let me go into the Gunbreaker. For me, this was actually a little underwhelming. I thought probably the most interesting thing is that you can actually have 3 cartridges stored up. I thought that's kind of cool because you can sort of save those up, plan around them a bit, for somewhere like AoE burst or single target burst. I thought that could be kind of fun for some decision making and gives you more leeway because you do build up those cartridges reasonably quickly, I felt. But pretty much I thought watching the Gunbreaker gameplay, it's pretty much just a dude with a gun sword just hitting things a whole bunch. He's just hitting stuff, and he's got some fun animations and stuff like that, but that's pretty much why it is, just hitting stuff and different explosions coming out of your gun. Now that move I thought was cool, where you jump up in the air and you do the slashes, but yeah, it does its one thing, I feel, and it does its one thing well, but it's not really pretending to do anything else. Bard, I actually think is looking pretty cool. Bard, probably when I first started playing Final Fantasy XIV, Bard was probably the lowest job on my entire list of saying, you know, this just looks kind of dumb. Why would I want to play a bard? Like, I'm playing music and stuff with a bow. It's like, nah, that's kind of dumb. But watching this stuff now, I'm actually like, yeah, well, that kind of looks really fun, actually. I believe one of the big changes for bard is that every one of your songs that you can cycle through now is also going to give you a big group buff. sort of emphasize that buffing nature of the job, which I think is actually going to be really cool and make it really unique and satisfying. There's this big finisher and then this new extra big finisher to follow your big finisher, which again I think is just satisfying. It seems a pretty consistent theme actually through all these job trailers, is that a lot of jobs is like your big finisher move now has another big finisher move to go on the back of it. But I actually think that's pretty fun. Astrologian is another job that I probably my favorite healer from the original 3 at least, in terms of visuals. I just love the visuals of Astrologian. I love the whole card system. I will be honest, I don't really understand at all what's happening with this card system, but man, that AoE looks incredible. That looks super cool. Reminds me a lot of Algalon from World of Warcraft, from Ulduar. But yeah, and that move too looks really cool. I think that might be an upgrade from my understanding. And then that AoE move with like the Starfall coming down just looks phenomenal. And I just think this job has just got amazing visuals, just really cool. It really speaks to me, and I love their weapon. But yeah, I don't really understand what they're changing with the cards. So I'm excited to find out, because it does look quite fun. It didn't look like it was changed too much either, considering that it's being switched from like a healer that can do both shields and healing to mostly just a healer. Samurai's up next, and actually one thing my girlfriend said I thought really resonated with me, because it's what I thought when I watched the Shadowbringer job action. 2 Tenkagoken in a row here, by the way. I thought that was kind of cool. But she said, Samurai looks kind of boring. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I thought it looked really boring when I watched the Shadowbringers trailer. Like, it's just a dude sitting there doing cool moves with his sword, but he's kind of just standing there. Nothing too exciting really is happening that much, which is funny because now I've actually played a lot of Samurai, and I think it's phenomenally fun and really cool and badass, and I love the animations. But there is just something, as a new person, when you watch the trailer, it doesn't really stand out to you. Like, it's kind of boring compared to, like, Dragoon or one of the other melee jobs I'll talk about later. This here looks like a new move. Like, Super Madare, that looks amazing. That looks very satisfying, so I'm excited for that. I think there's going to be 2 changes on Make Your Sushi as well, or whatever it's called. So I think that's fun. White Mage is up next. One thing I thought was interesting about White Mage was that I felt like there was a real water feel to a lot of the moves. My White Mage is currently level 60, and I didn't really feel like, I don't know, am I wrong? But I felt like that is not the feel that it has in-game. But I thought it's really cool. This is their new move where they can sort of grow this this plant on the ground, I guess some sort of lily on the ground, that will start pulsing out healing to the team as well. But I actually think it's a really good idea if they do emphasize like the sort of the water and the flowers and the nature aspect of White Mage. I think that's really good compared to like the holy sort of technological light spells, because I think Astrologian kind of captures that. The sort of light spells, and obviously Sage does as well. So I think more nature fits White Mage really well. Now Ninja, my girlfriend said, this is just far and above better than everything else. She's like, this looks unbelievably cool. And I have to agree, like, oh my goodness, Ninja looks insane. It looks absolutely nuts. Like, their physical attacks are really cool. They have all those amazing looking AoE attacks. This thing where their body starts blurring and moving faster, they start like flipping out at the end here as well. I was just blown away. Like, how cool is that? Just dash in, a clone jumps in and does that AoE. You've got the cast, like, and then it finishes off with this big lightning attack. It's just unbelievable. It's next level, I have to say. For me, I kind of walked away going, man, I actually think Ninja looks the best. And that's exactly what my girlfriend said too. So I was like, yeah, oh, okay. You know what? Ninja's damn cool. I need to play this job ASAP. Black Mage here is up next. For me, I feel like this looks... It doesn't come across as that exciting. Like, as someone that has not played this job, I look at the job gauge and I have no clue what is going on. It's completely impenetrable to me. It's like an entire different alphabet that I can't understand. Their spell effects I think are pretty cool. Big fire attacks, big ice attacks, fire and ice attacks going together, which I think might be new. But yeah, I think this seems pretty straightforward. It's just, you know, stand back and you do big explosions. This is the job for people that like really big explosions. Again, I feel like kind of like the Gunbreaker. It's sort of like it does its one thing, and it doesn't seem like it has that much variety in what it's doing, but it does that one thing probably really well, and if you're into that one thing, it's probably very satisfying. That's sort of my feeling on Black Mage. Do you like big explosions and standing there casting big explosions? If yes, you'll love it. If you want more variety, probably not for you, but yeah, big explosions, it's a Black Mage. I do like how it's always a Lalafell as well. Ooh, and then we got one of the new jobs, the new healer Sage. And this, to me, just looks insanely good. Like, you can really tell that it is new. It is so flashy. The weapons are incredible. I can't remember what they're called, but like these sort of 4 floating laser beam daggers. But yeah, just amazing. Like their attacks, just that you shoot out, charge up and shoot out these lasers, looks incredible. So cool. So insanely cool. Everybody's going to be playing a Sage. I'll tell you this right now, especially because it starts at a higher level. But Sage is going to be insanely popular. That attack is incredible as well. Like, that's an attack a DPS would be jealous of. So is this one. Big charge up, Hadouken laser. And then the gap closer where the little dagger things become wings. And you charge in like a jetpack boost. Just insanely cool. Like, yeah, I think Sage is just, it's on another level for the healers. I really do. Again, the DPS would be jealous of the moves. Monk has had a huge reworker, which I think is really interesting, actually. So really curious to see how this is actually going to play out in terms of the game. I think that their AoE combo, actually, they've changed one of the moves, which is good, because I thought that their Oppo and what's the final form, Raptor or Coral? The first and the third form, they had like the same thing. But interesting here as well, you've got like the yin and the yang building up as you do different moves here in the bottom of your job gauge. So yeah, you can kind of choose what you build up and it's going to unleash different finishing moves. So I believe that like Elixir Field, for example, where you jump up and shoot a laser beam at the ground and it is AoE, I think that's one option for sort of which form move you use when you're during that buff. And you can build it up. I think it sounds really fun, actually, really cool. So I'm very excited for Monk. Yeah, I'm actually very excited for that. And that Summoner, this is the one that people are most hyped about, and you can sort of see why. I have not played Summoner yet myself in game, but I believe that right now that their pets are not the actual summons, but as we see, as we go through here, you actually summon in like Titan, Ifrit, Garuda. Here's Garuda, and I think that is just so cool. They come in, they do a big attack, and then it actually empowers your abilities. So now he's after summoning in Garuda. Now the summoner has a whole bunch of wind-based attacks. I think that is so, so, so cool. My one concern was that your little carbuncle, he just seems to be standing there. So I don't know if that was something they did just for clarity during the showcase. But I kind of would like to see the little carbuncle like shooting out a few little attacks himself or zipping around. I feel like on my Arcanist, which is only like level 9 or something, but I feel like my carbuncle's doing some stuff on my Arcanist, so I would like to see that. Here's Titan coming in, massive attacks. They just look, it's just so impressive. And I thought these attacks are great. This is my favorite one, the big just 2 rock slaps clapping together. Simple but effective, right? Simple but effective. So I thought that looked super badass. Yeah, this is obviously extremely impressive, and the hype to play Summoner, I think, is pretty real. For me, I'm actually, I don't know, personally, I'm not that excited to play it, just because I can appreciate how insanely cool this is, but it's not really my cup of tea when it comes to games, for whatever reason. But yeah, it just looks awesome. I think there's also a dash move with Ifrit here. He dashes in, and then it looks like he does like a fire, like down smash or something. I thought that was really interesting to really mix it up. So we'll see, maybe they'll build on that in like further expansions or further patches or something like that, you know. Garuda could be this really ranged attacker, spell casting, but then maybe Ifrit or Titan, you could be dashing in more and doing more physical attacks like in melee range. I think that would be interesting. We'll see if they do go that way eventually. But Reaper is up next. This is the new melee DPS job, and this again looks really cool. It looks like he has some sort of power up my weapon move in the background to prepare for the fight, which is interesting. And yeah, this sort of a signature thing is that they can teleport in and leave a gateway behind, which they can then return to, which I think he does later on in the trailer. But yeah, I like the concept of this job, which is that your normal attacks are building up this top gauge, this red gauge, which lets you then summon in your Reaper dude to do an attack for you. And whenever he does an attack, it builds up the lower gauge, the blue gauge. And when you build up the blue gauge enough, then you can actually transform into the Reaper and get a whole bunch of really powerful attacks. Here he goes with his teleport thing. I just love as well, like the blue effects on his spells, I think looked really cool too. And then the red effects coming out of the actual Reaper. Here he goes into the transformation. So he looks just really cool, and he's sort of dashing around. It felt very Bloodborne. How for some of his moves, it looks like he kind of like puts his hand on the ground and sort of spins around it like that. That's so Bloodborne. Yeah, I think any Bloodborne fans are going to be extremely happy with this one. I think it looks incredible. It looks super fun. And here we go, Paladin then. I think this is the final job. which is on the moon, which is cool. I don't know what's going on there, but yeah. Again, I actually think Paladin was pretty impressive from the Shadowbringers trailer. So yeah, that looks like a new animation, which is interesting. I thought this is a bit of a pity, is that they didn't really show off the big wings behind the Paladin. You couldn't really get a feel for it, which was super impressive, I thought, before. Looks incredible in-game, but the trailer didn't really capture it, which is kind of a bummer. And I think here he's going into his cast sequence. It's like gigantic sword from the ground, a bunch of swords. How about more swords? And we'll finish it off with an extra dose of gigantic sword. So yeah, I mean, Paladin, I think, really stands out. And my girlfriend said instantly, she was like, yes, that looks like by far the most interesting tank, which I thought was a little bit of fun. But yeah, I thought it looked incredible. But there you go. Let's go back to the start real fast. Or I don't know, let's just jump somewhere in the middle. It'll be grand. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. They're my thoughts on it. I'm honestly, on the whole, I'm extremely impressed. Again, I thought Sage was disappointing. I thought there were a few jobs that were kind of just, you know, they seemed like solid enough, but they weren't blowing me away with anything too much that was new. It was like, that's cool, that's solid, looks good. And then there are a few jobs. The highlights for me, again, Ninja was my #1 from this job trailer. I thought Ninja, I'm going to actually skip to Ninja if I can find it. Here it is. This is Ninja. Ninja was my personal #1. Personal #1 was Ninja. I thought Ninja was just jaw-dropping. Honestly, jaw-dropping. I think Sage looks super fun. Reaper also looks super fun. Paladin looking really, really good as well. I personally enjoy the samurai stuff as a samurai player, but I think as a non-samurai player, it's a bit boring. And then Summoner looked insanely good too. So they're my thoughts. Let me, look at this. How cool, there's such a variety to their moves. It's insane. Oh my God. I'm a Ninja fanboy. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.